Okay, so good morning. It's Monday, and July is all about resting, resetting, resisting. We spoke about it last week, but I told you I would still, show up on for our lives. I thought about whether I should or shouldn't. And then I was like, yes, because I want to remind you guys to be doing that work, right? So today what I will be working on is amazing Michelle provided a repository for the 100 days of community, right? So that's on a Google Doc. I have some other I did an audit of my Substack where I was like, oh, these articles that I've written in the past over the past 2 years would help in each of these categories of resting, resetting, and resisting. So that will go in there, like for the editorial calendar. So I will be finishing that off this week. I'm behind. Good morning, Carolyn. If some of you did not know, we discovered a death in my family in New York. So, I had time. I needed some time to process that, still processing it and moving through and trying to get home and all of that good stuff. But I do want to come here on the Monday, Wednesday, Fridays and remind you guys of what we are doing this month, of why we are resting, why we are resetting, how we are resisting and doing those sorts of things. And I was talking to the amazing Kay Coughlin, who happens to be my business coach. And she came up with this brilliant idea of bring a friend. And so many of you have done that, right? Like, oh, I'm going to invite my friend, or I gift my friend the subscription, or invite them into one of the groups that I have on Facebook. And I love that. One, because resistance is better in groups, right? Like, like the whole point is to build community, right? We keep saying you need community, and I want to teach. Good morning, Carolyn, how to actually be able to be in community, and not just any community, but active, intentional, intersectional community, and what that looks like, right? And that's what the 100 Days of Community does. That's what the dismantling of these systems, of our language, of all of the things of supremacy culture helps us do. Hi, Lisa. It allows us to actually be able to create true community, right? Not something that is hinged on echo chambers or complete similarities, and not things that are always agreement. Good morning, sunshine. Will always make me smile, I swear. But recognizing the difference of what it's like to be in community in alignment, even when we don't agree. Okay. So we're going to have our three talking points like any other time. And I'm going to sip this amazing coffee. So, talking point one. This month, the archive is the offering, right? So I want us to really dig into what we have discussed, what is already exists. We do not need to keep doing that, right? One of the 15 pillars of supremacy culture, and I continuously go back there, it's the foundation of my work, is that progress equals like bigger and better, right? Oh, so we're being progressive because we just keep showing up to Des's things and they're just keep being new offerings. No, no. Sometimes just going back and receiving what already has been offered is enough, right? Going back, I'm loving, since Michelle has been putting this repository together, she's been leaving comments on the different days of, the 100 days of community. And I love that. And I believe Carolyn even said she wanted to go back and revisit that because you've been exposed to that. You've been moving differently. Some of you have taken a different workshop here or there, or just open your eyes in different ways. And to revisit that really, it opens you up in a different way, right? And that is part of that resistance, part of that rest, part of that resetting. Talking point two, liberation is a shared rhythm. Hence the bring a friend, right? It nobody wants to be like the person that walks in and is like the finger wagger, right? Well, let me tell you what I it's nice when you have, think of it like, a book club, a PTA meeting, your HOA meetings with a twist, with actually building community, right? With actually seeking barriers, why others have not been allowed in those spaces and dismantling those barriers. And that is that idea of that liberation as a shared rhythm. And three, bring a friend into the revolution of rest. Nap together. Do you know since I was a teen, because I was a teen mom. I was 16 when I was pregnant with my first. She'll be 29 tomorrow. And I used to literally, me and my friend Josie used to come over to each other's house. We would do what we did not know was body doubling then, right? Is that the cat? Yes. We would do body doubling, right? Like, hey, girl, I'm gonna come over to your house while you clean up and cook some dinner, and then come over to my house and I will do the laundry and do this and other thing. And so we would do that. She would come over to my house because she had the car, and then I would get in the car and go with her, and we would do that, and we would nap together. And that is revolutionary. Yeah, right? Because we were co-parenting, we were co-cleaning, we were truthfully co-creating a community and resting. So now both of our homes got done, our children were taken care of. We had the ability to keep them home, right? And really care deeply for each other. That is the background in which I come from, right? Same with my friend Barbara. We're still friends. Her grandkids are as old as these sets of kids. Barbara used to drop her two kids off because she's had a third since then. But at my house at like 5 o'clock in the morning, and because she had to go downtown to Manhattan to go work at Schlotsky's Deli, and I would then get up, get the kids ready. My sister at the same at that time was the age of her kids, and I'd walk them to school, right? And then somebody else would bring them back home. So, and we didn't always agree on every single thing in the neighborhood, but we aligned in the idea that deep care for each other was the way to survive the terrors and horrors of poverty, of disenfranchisement, of a lot of different things. When you grow up in a community in that sort of way, you really learn how to look beyond surface level stuff. And that is what I want us to get to and fall deeply into in July and be deeply intentional about in July. Okay. So another sip of the coffee, take a breath, let us begin. Hold on, wait, stand by. Mm, I'm answering a text and it's really important. I'm sorry. I'm trying to plan for my kids to go to the Slumu. Is that how you say it? It's like a slime extravaganza here in Atlanta. It's like a Slumu museum. And we're trying to plan that like last minute. Because then I might have to wake them up because they're still sleeping. And that's cool. All right. I'm gonna get their tickets. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. Welcome to ADHD mom. Okay. Like I was just trying to make sure that they could absolutely go and everything would be cool with that. All right. Hold on. Alexa, play Delilah on iHeartRadio. Listen to some music while I buy their tickets. Delilah from iHeartRadio. It's something unpredictable. In the end, it's right. I hope you have the time of your life. It's some
It was
summertime.
literally like
What
last
are you
minute. My
doing
friend
this
was like,
summer?
"Hey,
Are you spending time with
and
your
I really
family?
invited the
I
kids.
have a
Let
friend
me
who
put it that way.
does.
Is
Helped
she
shape
asked if we
my
could hang
career
out later
some
on because
many
it's
years
Chase
ago
Baby's
when I was a
bestie birthday,
teenager. And when
and
I was a
there's a party.
teenager, I was
Alexa,
so
stop on
envious because
Saturday.
he and
Alexa,
his family.
stop. Today is her actual birthday. And she was like, I want to hang with my bestie. And I was like, ooh, cool. What are you guys doing today? And she told me, and I high key invited my kids. So she is now we're trying to like plot and plan at the same time. So yes, there was something extra because I was gonna get the tickets before I got on here, but I was like, wait, let me check in and make sure because it's birthday. So they're doing today at 11. Crikey. Those tickets went from like $33 to 50, which is insane. So insane, right? It's criminal. Literally criminal.
enhanced experience for the minor is 66.99. They're about to not go because they didn't know they were going. Because that's what $155. Yeah, no. Let me go on and cancel that. No, I'm not doing $155. We'll get meet up after that. Gotcha. But prices went crazy. All right. So anyway, back to us. They didn't know that. I will find something else for them to do. We will go to the park and the sprinkler. Okay, because 155 is. I think that that's criminal. We were literally looking at tickets at 9 o'clock this morning, and they went from $35 to whatever the hell I just said. Oh, and the enhanced experience was 40 something, and it is now 60 something to be a total of 153.34 for kids to get wet with slime. Criminal. I will go and spend $50 on some slime and do the shit in the backyard. Okay, so back to us. Because what the hell was that experience? Okie dokie, Smokey. So this month, the archive is the offering. That is talking point one. I'm not teaching new lessons because the medicine has already been poured. July is about returning, revisiting, about letting the lessons land in a deeper layer. So sometimes the most radical thing that we could do is stop searching and start embodying what we already know, right? I often tell you guys, like, I am not some follow me, this is the only way to do it. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. I am saying I know what I'm doing. If this resonates and feels true to you, follow along. Come alongside. Bring your friends. Let's chat. Let's sit down. Let's build this thing. Let's ask some questions. Here's some resources and some tools. Do the thing, right? So it's about trusting yourself. Again, for me, decolonization is a journey back home, right? It is about returning to self, returning to your indigenous ways, and returning to the land and caring for others in a humane sort of way. So the reflection that I offer here is what lesson from the past year is asking for deeper integration, right? Because we will workshop ourselves to fucking death. Let's just be fucking honest here, okay? We will take every workshop. We will read every if I don't read another damn book, right? When I first started on TikTok, Jesus, 5 years ago, people would be like, "What book do you recommend?" I was like, "None, none. Don't read another thing. Stop reading. I don't want it. I don't want. I'm nothing. Nothing. I'm the book. It's me. Listen to people. Start talking to people, right? Having lived experiences and understanding that, conversing with people in your community will give you a better lesson in 5 minutes than any book you read. And I'm going to tell you why. Not that I'm an avid reader, so this is not that. What I'm saying is that when you read the book and your goal is decolonization and dismantling these systems and re-indigenizing yourself and your ways, you are still going to filter that book through your lens, through your language, through your understanding of oppression. And I'm going to give you a live example this morning. I'm scrolling just on Facebook, like, okay, I need to get up and take a shower. And just a random post of a swimming pool. And it's like, this is this swimming pool held such great memories, basically. I'll pull the actual post to read it to you, but just to give you a real life example of why talking with people is something more expansive. Not that it's better or it's just different, and it's definitely more expansive than reading a book. But there is a book for this, so it kind of goes very well. Let me see. Do, 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 do. Because I want to share it. Because I'm like, I want to be very clear on it. So the post and it's very benign. This is not an indictment on the person. This was our East Point pool. It was built in the 50s, and I spent hot summers of late 60s and 70s there. The red building was the bathhouse you had to walk through to get out to the pool area. Boys on the right side, girls on the left, and the concession stand was in the middle. I can still taste the frozen Reese's and Zeros bar. Those were the days with the jukebox out there blaring. Seems benign, right? A beautiful summer memory. We're in summer, it's July in East Point, and there's a book about the ghost pools. of East Point. Now, many have read it. It's been posted in groups and on that sort of thing. But my question was, is this one of the segregated pools of East Point? Right. And when you're having conversations with people, when you're willing to open yourself up to that, right? When you're willing to step in and say, oh, yeah. Love that you had a beautiful time at that segregated pool. But what tends to get forgotten is the segregated pool, right? And segregation, then when confronted with it, came up with language, right? Oh, yes, it was time of civil unrest and Vietnam. I don't give a fuck about Vietnam. I'm talking about this neighborhood. Vietnam had nothing to do with this over here. Vietnam is a product of the homegrown racism and colonial mindset of white supremacy. What happens globally is an echo of what is happening locally. Okay. The military in other people's country is quite literally the expansion of the New York and the East Point and the California and LAPD. They are an expansion of the United States of America police system. The policing system in the United States of America started out catching slaves, runaway slaves, which they deemed had a medical issue, tryptomania, I believe it was called, that if you were an enslaved African and choosing to run away from your freedom, you had a mental illness because why would you want to be free? Okay. So when you're able to have those sorts of conversations, when you're able to sit with that, when you're able to recognize that, yes, your memory is, you are entitled to it. Love that you had great summers in your 50s and 60s, but understand that your neighbors did not have that same experience during the same exact time, in the same exact location. That is going to open you up to more healing, more dismantling, more decolonization, and more aligned community than if you just read the book. Because you're going to read the book as a matter of fact, right? You go, oh, yeah, it was segregated during that time. It was a time of civil unrest. And that's just a matter of fact. It is different when you are willing to sit with someone and say, so civil unrest sounds really peaceful for the violence of whiteness. Civil unrest is a wild terminology to use for people that were dragging people behind cars, raping, killing, pillaging, burning down neighborhoods, white flight, red summers. Literally, white people going into the segregated neighborhoods that were given to us and coming through and murdering Black people and destroying Black neighborhoods. That's not civil unrest. One, civil unrest needs two people, two groups of people to have an unrest. Okay. Not a group of people that were forced into segregation, minding their Black ass business, being aggressed consistently by white people. There is a difference, right? So when you are reading books, right, you're not going to get the full gist of it. I want you guys to take this time and talk to more people. Open yourselves up to conversation. Bring a friend. Like, talk to somebody, right? This can be an opening for a deeper conversation, right? So ask yourselves what lessons, again, this past year are asking for deeper integration. If you've read a book, great. Find somebody that experienced it. It's not that long ago. I'm 46 years old. My father went to segregated schools. We know, and we could tell you, right? The indigenous of this land could tell you about boarding schools. Like, you could read any book you want. It's not going to be the same thing as sitting with people and really deeply trying to be in intentional communication and conversation with people that have survived that, right? It's the same we read about the Holocaust. It's completely different when you talk to a Holocaust survivor or their family. Right. And we all understand the weight of that because America has absolutely commercialized upon that for their faux love of Jewish people. So, all of those things, when we're sitting down and we're thinking about what does it look like to rest, reset, and recess, it is about going deeper. This is not me saying take complete time off. This is saying sit with it, sit. Let's go, let's integrate these lessons because there's so much trauma that you guys have heard over the past 5 years. Let's just really be realistic about it. Since 2020, this huge push with anti racism and the violence of whiteness coming to the forefront, there's been so much. And when have you stopped to pause, to integrate, to really listen, to sit with the people, to turn around and say, okay, I'm going to bring other people into this fold, and not in a finger wagging way, not in a I'm better than you because I've been doing this work and you haven't, because, sweetheart, you were not always doing this work either. So extend that same grace, right? Extend that camaraderie, extend that community, because that is the goal here. So think about it like this. Not everything needs to be new to be transformational. That's the reframe. Sometimes the lesson needs space to marinate. I said marinate. To marinate. I'm still saying it, to marinate. And July is that space, right? To really sit and integrate and go further in. Talking point two, liberation is a shared rhythm. Liberation was never meant to be a solo practice. This month, I'm inviting you to bring someone with you, not for clout, right? Not for more subscribers. Obviously, we're all that is one of the goals, but literally to have community within those that you already love and care about, right? When my cousin joined here, I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. We could talk about some other things, or just seeing me work. That's beautiful. They kind of know what I do, but like, you know what your folks do, but you don't know what they do. That kind of thing, right? But inviting them in, hey, you know what? Come on, come sit with me in this live. Let's talk about these things. Let's talk about how I'm impacted by this, that, or the other thing. That is that whole energy, right? Of bringing someone into that fold and integrating with you. The reflection here that I offer is, who in your life is ready for this kind of reset, but doesn't even know it yet, right? They've done all the work. You guys have attended all the workshops. You've done all of the marching, but it's still feeling very surface level, or it's still feeling insurmountable, which is normal when we're looking at the regime that is happening, right? But when you are able to come into community with people, yesterday I shared back to my Facebook because I live there. Um, Yesterday I shared, I was like, alligator, Alcatraz is basically not new. And I shared the history of feeding Black children to alligators. Gator bait is what they would call them, right? And people did not realize that that was true, or that it happens. And I'm like, there's so much in this land that you don't even begin to understand or to know. Right? Somebody was like, this is disgusting. This is horrible. And I'm like, this is inhumane. Right? What disgusting is biting into your sandwich and finding out your meat is slimy. That's disgusting. The sensory, like a nightmare of that. That's disgusting. Right? This is horrific. These are crimes against humanity. This is some of the most inhumane, and these are the ancestors that people are talking about. These are your grandparents. These are your great grandparents. This is that community to be in, right? Having these conversations, and where it can give you hope, because we are the descendants of those people. And we're still here, and we're still educating. We're still smiling. We still have joy. We still dancing. We're still eating. We're still loving. We're still hoping. Right. So when you're able to tap in to intentional community in that, that is what you get, is that, yes, you will get some horrific truths, some vilifying facts, but you should also gain some hope and some camaraderie by those who are still here sharing that work. And if you're a white body person, I remind you that you were once of a group of people that were also colonized and faced horrible crimes against humanity. And you are still here. You are just white now. And you need to remember who you were before you were white. That's part of your reconnection journey. And that is going to take community, right? That's going to take those that do remember who they were, who they are, who have forged proper identities and culture underneath the regime of colonization. And you're going to need those people to be in community with. Right. And in order to do that, you need to become a safe person. And in order to become a safe person, you need to unlearn a lot of everything. You need to unlearn it all. That is the point of why we are out here doing the education the way that we do it. those that do it in this fashion, right? In that whole self-healing and decolonizing sort of way. So the reframe that I offer here is this isn't about convincing. It's about offering an invitation to a softer way. And ask yourself who would benefit from this sacred pause alongside you, right? Sit down, take a fucking breath, because this has been a lot of information. And really talk to people, integrate, come inside, right? A little bit, a little bit. I know we outside. It's summertime. I joined Facebook dating. I'm about to be a terror. I love that for me. And I love that for you guys. I want you outside. I want you enjoying life. That is what we're talking about, right? Is finding the joy in it all and being able to resist. That is the long haul of it. That is it. And when you have someone, your ace boon coon, like I said, when I was younger and we would do these things, you are now co creating a new world. Can we nap together? Can we dine together? Can we get mimosas together? Can we dismantle supremacy culture together? Right? It's just adding another layer to your friendship, to your community, and seeing where this goes because we are coming to the point where we're going to have to be very deeply aligned to be in community. And it's going to have to go beyond that surface level. I'm seeing you guys out here and it's breaking my fucking heart, with this situation in Texas. And it's like, that's what they get. I'm like, golly, that epigenetic inhumanity got to be confronted. That's what they get. And don't get me wrong, because people die every day. Like, that is what it is. Like, death is absolutely a part of life, but I will not be what happens to one happens to all, right? So are we going to start parceling out the horrors? Like, do we say that those who voted for this, I mean, yeah, also get the life that you voted for, but where's your humanity for it? Like, yeah, you 100% asked for this. So people are not prepared for these horrors. What are you ready to do to turn that around? That's the invitation from me, right? Like, yeah, yeah, this is what you voted for. That's what you got. Oh, you didn't anticipate that. We tried to tell you. You did not listen, and that's fine. Are you listening now? Can you hear me now? And if you can hear me now, what are you willing to do? What are you willing to do to become aligned? Because we don't have to agree. I don't have to agree with your choices that you've made, and I don't even give a shit why you made them, right? But what could we do to come into alignment? Because that's humanity. And that is what we're going to need to come alongside each other and move past it. And really, truthfully, to decide who's safe and who's not safe in community. Right. And that's not just at the voting booths, okay? Because there's plenty of liberals I wouldn't want nowhere fucking near me. There's plenty of people that voted blue no matter who that I could not step foot on my property. Okay. So it's well beyond party lines. So what are we doing to actively curate community? And that is that energy of like, bring your friends and let's pause, let's rest, let's reset, let's resist. Third talking point, bring your friends into the revolution of rest. Back to that very first thing that I said. Napping together was a blast. Love that. I'm still a napper. My friends, Leah, you guys met Leah one time. That's my Care Bear, love and light. We'll come over and we will literally just snack and lay down in bed. Like, that's it. That's what we're doing. We're taking a rest from the world and we are going to nap. That's it. We're gonna eat in bed. We're gonna talk shit. And we're gonna watch some movies. We're gonna cuddle a little bit, play in each other's hair. It's very fun. It's very fun. It's very revolutionary. It's very much a resistance to the grind of capitalism. Maybe we don't have every single thing that we desire or fucking need sometimes. But you know what? We have each other. And in the midst of all of this, we will reset. We will rest, right? My friend Mo's coming over. She likes to cook. She is like such a no-no, you know what I'm saying? And I love that because I don't like to cook. Those things are revolutionary. That's community, right? And as a matter of fact, speaking about Monique, we talk all the time and no, we don't agree on a lot of shit. I'm like, absolutely not. I'm like, that's no, absolutely not. And the same for her. But we are so deeply aligned in what we believe in community, how we want to show up for these kids, how we want to show up in the world. And that does not take 100% agreement. I really want you guys to understand that. So, bringing a friend is not just a campaign, right? It's a call to seed this circle, whether people are new to this work or longtime travelers in this work, right? What I'm offering is that invitation to come into that circle, into that space. I'm asking for you guys to invite people into a more aligned path where we are not abusing each other, where we are really sitting down and meeting each other with humanity. Like, what you doing, friend? Can we talk about this? I noticed, this was said, or hey, because now there's conversations on that Facebook post about the pools, right? Oh, I don't know what ghost pools are, but whoop, 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 whoop. And, I'll hit you with a couple of links. Are you willing to have that conversation about how this lands on other people that scroll? Without the recognition of the fact that it is a segregated space, without the recognition that some people in this space, many in this space, were never allowed in that pool, around that pool, or in that neighborhood. Like, can you recognize that? Right. And that is that coming into community and into deep alignment with people's truths. Right. Can you recognize the fact that that pool that you then decided to keep people out of is 100% forged on stolen land with other people that you refuse to allow to be in there? Like, can we get down to the whole nitty gritty of it? And when we do that, now what does that look like to come together and say, never again for real? Because we're watching things now. And I don't know. I don't think people understood what never again meant. That's just me. So the reframe says you don't have to carry the whole movement alone, right? That is individualism. And that's one of those another one of those 15 pillars of supremacy culture, right? Like the individualism is only one right way. I'm the only one. No, you're not actually. Like no, there's many of us out here doing it. And the more we find each other, the more we gather intentionally in community, the more that we can undo, right? And co create. So sometimes your rest gives others permission to rise, revisit, and reroute. So today, I'm not asking you to hustle or show up in 100 ways. I'm asking you to remember, revisit, reflect. And if you feel called, bring someone into the fold, someone who needs this just as much as you do, because rest shared becomes a ritual and community built in pause becomes unstoppable. And that's it. That is my message for the day. Bring a friend. The editorial calendar will be out. There will be a repository for the 100 days and some other articles that go underneath each of those categories of rest, resist, reset. And I really want you guys to be deeply intentional this month about that because we got a long way to go and we don't want you burned out. We want you right here. We want you in the midst of it all. And we want to hold space together, right? And witness each other together. And time is happening at the same time, right? Like I have something that I'm consistently like working on, like the layers of, global oppression, and if you look at the timeline between the 20s through the 80s, like 90s, like today, you could quite literally see the overlap globally. Nothing is happening just here. And even if it all seems good, look how beautiful this is right now. Somewhere it's not. And I don't mean overseas. I mean somewhere right here. I'm in Georgia, somewhere in rural Georgia, right here, right now. Somewhere in the city of Atlanta, right here, right now. Your worldview is not the worldview. Okay. Again, together in alignment. I know, I'm terrible. I didn't think there was a live today either, Tiffany. But here's what I'm thinking. I'm not gonna be writing. I am gonna show up Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. One, I love you guys. I really do deeply. And even if it's just to show up and remind you guys, are you doing something? I hope you're resting. And I really want you guys to check in with me on what you are doing. So be prepared to be here Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. I'm still going to be showing up here. I got to look at when my tickets are to New York. That may be like a blip, but and it may literally just be us hanging out, having pizza in the Bronx. I don't know. But I do know that I still want to show up in this sort of way. I just won't be writing as heavy. And this is where I'm at today. That may change. I don't look. Welcome to my world. It is chaotic and I love that. All right. Dinah says yes. Remember, revisit, reflect. Jesus says, thank you for giving of yourself, even in your time of rest. Thank you. And thank you for being here, right? Like, and showing up even in your time of rest, right? Like that is what this is about. So they'll probably be a little bit shorter or what have you. Good morning, Erica. But I did want to jump on and have something. And I'm trying to find the balance of you guys not feeling abandoned in this moment while still finding my rest, right? It's like 6 in one hand, half a dozen in another. So we'll work it out. We'll work it out. And I'm here for the long haul. So maybe next July you won't see me. Maybe they'll by next July I'll have pre-recordings and these will just go up Monday, Wednesday, Friday, right? And it'll be like, hey girl, hey. Like, I don't know. But this is where we are today. And we're gonna honor our truths and our heart and our emotion in these moments. All right. I love you guys. Um, I will see you on Wednesday. All right. Bye. Mwah.